Boy howdy, it's finally here. After months of radio silence. Who am I, JonTron? What is this, a JonTron video? As of the time of this recording, it is the beginning of the Christmas season, the time of year to enjoy the company of friends and family. Quite a few people asked for this video, meaning Manhunt 2 is the most requested game so far on my channel. So, how is Manhunt 2? It's a game. This game has to have the most wishy-washy reviews I have ever seen. With Manhunt 1, I got the general consensus that people liked it. But with this game, I can't seem to find a definitive answer of whether or not people enjoy it. But you know me, I don't rely on other people's reviews and opinions, so I'm gonna shut down this intro and we're gonna jump on in.
Daniel, it's not safe up here. Return to your room immediately.
Shit has already hit the fan. After a power outage which is shown in the intro for the game, the patients of Dixmoor Asylum are unintentionally set free to wreak havoc on everything and everyone in their sight. This is Daniel Lamb. He'll be our protagonist for the game. His hobbies include whining, doing impressions of upset wives,
Wait, how do you know all this?
abandoning his family, and killing people. What a stud! Then there's Daniel's friend, Leo Casper, who is a bit odd.
Get your head straight and follow me.
The duo are using the ride as an opportunity to escape, while throwing the same tutorial from the last game at you. First things first, the executions are much more brutal than before, and the way I see it, this just shows Daniel's desperosity to survive. Is that even a fucking word? Desperateness? It shows he's desperate to survive, and we are bearing witness to his first ever kill, and reasonably it has an effect on him, causing him to get sick and throw up all over the floor after his first few kills. But just like you and I, it won't take long for Daniel to become desensitized to the killing and the blood and gore. After taking out a couple of orderlies, Daniel escapes the asylum by jumping in the back of a trash master, but one thing is missing, or one person is missing: Leo.
Keep moving, we haven't
Oh wait, there he is. Leo tells Daniel that he left something behind in his old abandoned house to help with his mind problems.
Danny, listen. It's a manhunt. And
It's not going to be an easy trek, as the watchdogs are patrolling the area. Who are the watchdogs? Why, they're the cleanup crew for the project. Who is the project? By this point in the story, we know very little, practically nothing. We'll piece it all together as we go on. All you need to know is they're in the way. Ghosts is where we learn a couple of the many new features, like a new addition to stealth. It's not groundbreaking or revolutionary, it's just a QuickTime event. But it does add another layer of difficulty, even if said layer is as thin as a sandwich bag. Then there's vaulting, and later on in the episode, aerial takedowns, which I execute
perfectly. Bitch.
After scouring the house and hallucinating about his family, Daniel finds some delicious drugs that Leo insists he takes. Aw, snap. The needle's broken. Well, I guess we gotta find another one, but those pesky watchdogs insist on crashing the party.
Go ahead.
You know, I don't know if this Leo guy is good for my mental health. Daniel then finds what he left behind, a matchbox that came from a strip club, leading to arguably one of the more famous episodes of this game.
They preyed on people, made them disappear. We shouldn't be here.
I need to be here. There's someone I need to speak to. I saved these matches for a reason.
Who do you voodoo, bitch? Would you guys like to see Dead Island on the channel? Anyways, we arrive at the strip club, but naturally, it's not empty. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to Demolition! I mean the pervs. They dress up in BDSM gear and torture people. Fun! Now it's time to sneak in and find out why I'm supposed to be here. Are you ready for another new feature? Look! Environmental executions. Finally, a welcome addition. Wonder how easy it would be to get a job here. And here's yet another welcome addition. Deaf Hunters. Super loud noises like music or industrial machinery can deafen enemies, making it a lot easier to get the jump on them. Mixed in with the pervs is a doctor who catches Daniel's eye. This episode is split into two sections, the main club and the dungeon, or sorry.
The dungeon!
The dungeon is the bloodiest section of the entire game.
I don't know your face, and only faces I know get in. Get the fuck out of here. Georgie boy, come on in. Jeez, you look like shit.
Some of the pervs are down here torturing people with circular saws, which, yes, you can use. Now, most of them are locked in these cells that you have to unlock. Now, you could just unlock the cells, get behind them, and kill them, but if you look at your mini-map, each cell has its own unique environmental execution. Daniel finally catches up with the doctor, who seems shocked to see him, though she acts even more shocked that he's spoken to Leo. Interesting that. I would like to point out one other thing. It was at this point in the game I started to experience a lot of input lag and just lag in general. Now, I will not fault the game for that. That is simply the emulator that I'm using. So if you do see that stuttering or slowness or the lag throughout the video, that would be why. Goodbye, pervs, and hello, Red Kings. But wait a minute, you guys look normal. What's your guys' shtick? Well, to be honest, I don't know, but there is a theory going around that they may or may not be into sticking hot dogs into molded donuts. Wink, wink. The only thing I care about, though, is the fact that they are standing between me and a nearby safe house. It was at this point in the game where my emulator really began to give me some issues. What was that? Did you say another new feature? No? Well, here's one anyways. These are security lights, and they turn on when you make sudden movements near them. I never had any issues with them, but your results may vary.
Hey, come on, let's talk.
I found myself in a back alley where I gave the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles a visitor. After successfully executing an aerial execution, before pressing on and finding myself in front of an adult store where the cops were poking around. But little do the cops know, I'm a mentally unstable man with a small arsenal of weapons. What could go wrong there? Then I made my way inside the store where the watchdogs were just dicking around. Unfortunately for the watchdogs, they are just about as deaf as I can be when my fiance's talking to me. But through the sounds of joy and ecstasy, I kill them all and make my way up to the balcony, where they are hot on my trail. But that doesn't stop me from reaching that safe house. And you would think, you know, the watchdogs are coming. They know I'm in here. Let's just get a change of clothes and get the fuck out of here. But no, he insists on reminiscing about a picture of him and his old friend Michael, which takes us into the first of many flashback episodes in this game, which personally I think are kind of a low point. This episode begins 6 years earlier when Daniel and Leo are betrayed by their friend Michael, who has informed the project of their whereabouts. Only just before they could catch Michael, he bolts away with the keys to their escape boat. There are a handful of these flashback episodes, and I know I've already mentioned it, but they kind of fall flat. Mostly consisting of running and gunning, with the occasional stealth opportunity thrown in there. The entirety of this episode has you chasing Michael through these docks and these industrial type buildings, and by the end you take him out, you get your keys, and you run and gun your way back to the boat. There are some stealth opportunities as I've mentioned, but overall I just choose to shoot my way through to the end.
If the project wants a war, they got one.
Returning to the present, Danny has found himself a new change of clothes along with a gun and a photo of the doctor he's seen previously, recognizing the name of a hotel in the background. As it turns out, the safe house is an unsafe house.
No!
The watchdogs are hot on our trail. However, they've made a huge mistake. They've so kindly brought me a small arsenal of weaponry. Let's talk about the gunplay since I didn't mention that in the last episode. The gunplay is practically the same as before, only this time around it feels more loose and less polished somehow. Though that still doesn't take away the absolute satisfaction I get when I get a free aim headshot.
Nice.
This place is littered with the watchdogs, which makes it perfect for target practice. After killing all of them, it's time to set off to find that hotel.
I'm sick of this. We're gonna find Judy and talk to her.
Okay, first things first. I love this episode, okay? It's not my personal favorite, but it is a very close second. My favorite episode is coming up in just a few. This episode begins with a flashback. Another one. Not a playable flashback. No, it's between Danny and his wife arguing about Danny joining the project. Daniel seems very certain about his future.
Look, if it's a success, we can clear all our debts and start a new life.
Turning yourself into a psycho? What are you thinking?
This is a real chance to change the course of medical history.
Then we return to the present, where Danny is questioning the hotel clerk about the woman in the photograph. He'll tell you to wait there for a moment, and you can go about this two ways. Way number one, you can ignore his requests and run upstairs and search for the doctor. Way number two, you can sit there and wait for him to come back. However, this is not a Far Cry secret ending, so instead of getting the credits, you get a group of watchdogs instead. They will show up regardless of the choice you make, so don't think too heavily about it. One thing I'd like to say is this episode is very open-ended, maybe a little too open-ended. It took me a hot minute to figure out where I need to go and what I need to do, eventually finding a pair of pliers and figuring out that I need to cut open this fence and crawl through this vent leading me to another part of the hotel, where this really nice guy, really cool guy, is just so nice. He gives me his gun, and then I proceed to take out the rest of the watchdogs in the area before making my way down to the basement and killing even more, in one of the more fun gun sections in the game. Can we get a short montage? Okay. Oh hey, by the way, did I mention there are now gun executions? I'm not going to show you one because even though yes, I put a disclaimer in the beginning of this video, I don't know how YouTube is going to react to that, so do what you will with that. After crawling through another vent, we find ourselves on top of an elevator, where the episode ends, with Danny eavesdropping on a conversation between the doctor and Dr. Pickman.
He's here, with Leo. I don't know how he found me. Are you crazy? He's an animal, and Danny barely remembers who I am. Don't threaten me, Pickman. I won't do this anymore. I quit.
There she is.
Stay away from me!
No! I need to talk to you!
I can't trust Leo.
Don't listen to her, Danny.
I've helped you all I can, Danny. Don't trust anybody, especially...
No!
It's the project. Move.
No!
It's okay. It's okay. I've got you.
Hey, what's up, Leo? What are we doing, man? More running and gunning? Okay. Assassination is probably my least favorite flashback episode in the game, if not my least favorite episode in the game. No, I take it back. There's one that's worse. This episode really only consists of running and gunning through office buildings and across rooftops where snipers are waiting to pop your head. Yeah, that's all I have to say. After the assassination of Dr. Judy, Daniel's on the run from bounty hunters, aka the project's mercenaries. After stepping out into a seemingly empty street, all hell breaks loose.
It's a trap. Get out of here. Run!
They chase me into a small shack where I'm able to break open a hatch and crawl through a space under the floor leading outside. This episode is pretty damn intense. You've got mercs walking around, some even with flashlights, and a chopper overhead shining a spotlight across the area. Now I'll admit, I did have some trouble here, but it was fun. After successfully sneaking by the first group, I take a few pot shots at the chopper, but to no avail. Don't shoot it, it only wastes ammo. Then I found myself in a storm drain, taking part in a shootout. It didn't last forever, unfortunately, as I made my way out and back onto the surface, where that same chopper was waiting for me, sending me running into a nearby mechanic shop where the watchdogs waited to take over the hunt. They stood no chance. Well, fuck me running. We have another flashback. This time we're looking to erase our past by destroying the project's documents on us. Hey, remember Fueled by Hate from the first game? Remember how awesome that part was where you had to lug around a gas can? Well, here it is again. You're welcome. You'll be using several throughout the episode. The first pile of documents is sitting outside for some reason. The rest are inside this warehouse. This one was actually kind of fun, mostly due in part to it lacking guns, encouraging stealth. An interesting thing to note, we burn both Daniel's and Leo's documents, which means if Leo isn't real, then he at least was real at some point in time.
Our history is officially erased. Now we can be whoever we want. There's just one more thing to take care of. After that, freedom.
And here we are, back in the present again. Only now we're even closer to our end goal. Or Leo's, anyways. We've tracked Dr. Pickman to this museum-looking place where the watchdogs are yet again. It's become very clear that the colorful hunters from yestergame are gone. Eventually, I find my way down into the vet labs.
Excellent.
Dr. Pickman just about runs into us in the hall before fleeing deeper into the facility. You think these idiots are gonna stop me? Nay, nay. Atop a spiral staircase sits a control room with camera equipment, and sitting in front of you sits a roll of film titled Dr. White. Going downstairs causes Daniel to have a flashback of his brainwashing. Before we can press on any further, we're taken down by a Manchurian Candidate type line.
What seest thou else in the dark backward and abysm of time? I've induced a deep hypnotic state. I think you'll be able to handle him now. Dr. Lamb isn't going to cause us any more trouble.
Where can you run to now? You're cornered like a sick dog.
I'm telling you, these guys are not good at their jobs. Another intense bit of action follows as you gun down the watchdogs while also destroying any loudspeaker in the area, because if you don't, Dr. Pickman will keep spouting out that kill phrase. That dumb bald fuck is not long for this world as I knock him out with a trank gun. And we get confirmation on what we already knew.
Daniel, please untie me.
Danny isn't here.
Leo. If you kill me, Leo, you'll be lost forever. Now let me speak to Daniel.
You're lying.
It only takes one phrase from me, Leo. Don't push
Or
me.
what, huh?
What
the
seest
hell are
thou
you gonna do?
else in the dark, backward, and abysm of time? Pass me the sample carrier marked Leo.
But we agreed to use the control personality, not Leo. Leo is a killer.
Yes, I know what Leo was. Now, we've got one chance to make this work before they shut this project down.
So, what are we gonna do with this newfound information? With Pickman dead, that only leaves us one last key to Daniel's past, Dr. White, though it seems like more Project Goons stand in our way. See, this is the favorite episode that I was referring to earlier. The escalation of violence paired with the absurdity of the environment is pretty well done. Hey, by the way, check out this White Rabbit Easter egg. Pretty cool, huh? Despite it being my favorite episode, there's not a whole lot to talk about. It's mainly just running and gunning, but lots of fun.
It's payday, boys. We got him for sure this time.
Hundreds of bullets and gallons of blood later, we've reached an altered state. Altered State picks up outside on what looks like another film set. More goons, I think they're called the Legion or something, I don't know. The hunters in this game are so dull, I could care less to name them. Anyways, more goons are waiting to end me, but I'm armed with an M16 and a will to live, so we'll see how far you guys get. Turns out, not far at all. I had to trade out my M16 for a crossbow as it had run out of ammo. It's silent and it gets the job done. The game tried to set me up for a cool kill, but I guess the AI had other plans. Why? I'm able to make quick work of the guys in and around this barn. The same goes for this house. And this shack. Dr. White and the hunters are able to trap me in an area near the exit, but I have a deagle and a will... Oh, wait. The episode ends with Dr. White sedating Daniel, which also knocks out Leo. Daniel wakes up sometime later and goes into a panic.
Leo! Leo!
But we're about to find out some pretty devastating information. God, I hate this episode, or at least the beginning of this episode. It really puts your skills to the test. It's another flashback and the cops are looking for Leo. They have flashlights, so shadows are no longer a safe place to hide. A helicopter circles above, shining a spotlight across the neighborhood. They aren't the only ones. No, because even the residents can look for you, provided you aggro them. The main objective is to search for pliers to cut through a fence to evade the cops, and eventually the SWAT team shows up. And now suddenly the episode becomes fun. The episode ends with the revelation that the project made Danny kill his wife, which is just brutal. Holy shit.
You will not remember anything before this moment. You will not remember us being here. You will never speak to Leo again. A little too effective, I feel. Get him out of here. Remove the cameras, torch the house.
Possessing the knowledge of what happened, Daniel finds himself in a nightmare sequence where he will get rid of Leo once and for all. This episode is split into sections. The first has you silently executing Leo with a syringe in order to obtain his crowbar and break the lock to the next section, of which you'll be taking on some watchdogs inside the catacombs. The third section has you going up against Pikmin, Michael, and another watchdog. I end up killing Pikmin and using the trank gun on the watchdog. Michael just kind of ran off, never to be seen again. Goodbye, Michael. Section 4 requires you to kill 6 hunters in order to progress. The best thing to do is to kill the one with the gun and use it on the rest of them. Easy peasy. Yeah. The fifth and final section has you carry your dead wife to her grave. Apparently doing so will release Leo's grip on Daniel. I'll be honest, this part almost made me throw my controller through the fucking wall. I mean, I was genuinely getting pissed off for a little bit there. I had to take a break and come back to it. That's how fucking bad it was. It took a long game of cat and mouse, along with some 200 IQ plays to finally beat it, but I did. And I'll tell you what, seeing Daniel beat Leo to death with a shovel couldn't have been more satisfying.
But I have a choice. A choice! And I choose to be me!
Who the fuck wants to be Daniel?
I do!
Can never get
After one last brain pain, Daniel wakes up on an empty road, unknowing of who he is. A sheet of paper with the details of his new life is all he has. He is no longer Daniel Lamb. He is now David Joyner. And he is finally free. So, what is my overall opinion of Manhunt 2? It's a good one-and-done type of game. I understand there's a good and a bad ending, the good ending of which I got, so that does add a layer of replayability, but personally, I don't see myself playing it again. I definitely prefer the first game. Now, I will say this, the story was interesting, especially towards the end. The MK Ultra inspirations were an interesting route to take Manhunt, but something about the game feels half-cocked. I guess you could say it wasn't executed properly. So, what will follow Manhunt 2? To be honest, I'm not entirely sure. There are quite a few games I'd like to feature on the channel. It's only a matter of picking the game and making the time to make the video. So, until then, thank you guys for watching. I greatly appreciate your guys' patience. I love the fact that people tune into this channel. It means the world to me. Even though it is a hobby, it does mean a lot to me. So anyways, I'm going to hit you guys with a quick montage, and that's all she wrote for today. See y'all later.
What the fuck?
You're gambling with your life about me and the kids.
Look!
What seest thou else in the dark backward and abysm of time?
I could be you, but I have a choice. A choice! And I choose to be me!